Hello and welcome to another episode of Workshop Wednesday. Now this episode is coming to you on the first day of the new month, September. So it is Tool of the Month time, and today we're going to be talking about angle grinders. Most people watching this will have an angle grinder in their toolbox. It's a very useful tool to have, and I'm sure many of you will have gone down the same path as we have when it comes to angle grinders, so we'll just quickly show you that. Well, we started off with a hacksaw and realised that's a lot of work, so quickly moved on to this Black & Decker corded angle grinder here, which is very, very old, and the power lead is broken, so it doesn't work at the moment. Dad did think about fixing this, but it's been a long time since he thought about that, so I'm sure that might get done at some point. Not sure about that though. Then when that broke, he moved on to this, which is a Makita corded angle grinder, and there are still no problems with this. It was made in 2008, so many years ago that this replaced the previous one. And then quite recently, actually, well, 5 years ago, 2017, we bought this, which is an 18-volt cordless, so battery, brushless Makita battery angle grinder, which uses the same 5-amp 18-volt batteries that a number of our tools use. Now, the advantages that we found of a battery angle grinder over a corded one is, say you want to start doing a job that isn't near a power supply. With a corded angle grinder, you have to start messing around with extension leads and stuff like that, and all the cables are going to get knotted up and stuff. And even if you're in your workshop or shed or wherever you do things with your tools, then if you're using any other tools like a welder or something, the cables are probably going to get knotted up, and you'll spend a lot of time when you're trying to use your tools with all the cables knotted up, and you're going to have to unplug them and unknot them, and that just takes a lot of time. Whereas when you get a battery one, to use it, you simply pick it up, chuck a battery in and go. 10 times easier, 10 times quicker, and you end up doing jobs quicker as well. Which the battery angle grinder is a bit bigger than the corded one, but we haven't had any problem with this size difference really, and we still think this works just as well as a corded angle grinder. Now on to the main disadvantage of the battery angle grinder, which is the price, which will give you a bit of a comparison between these two. We won't give you the price comparison for this one because it's so old that the price comparison for this is probably not really relevant or comparable to these two. Now originally, back in 2008, this Makita corded angle grinder cost us 60 Great British pounds. However, if you were to buy a modern one now, so a new corded Makita angle grinder, it will cost you 43 Great British pounds, which for those who want the conversion, that's 52 USD or 66 Canadian dollars. Now, the battery angle grinder is significantly more. It's actually double what we originally paid for this angle grinder. So this cost us 120 Great British pounds, which that was how they call it, body only, which is just the tool rather than buying it with a battery. And the conversion for that goes to 146 US dollars for this, or 186 Canadian dollars. We use our angle grinder with a number of attachments. We've got a few of them here. We use them with not wheels. Well, quick word of warning to anyone that's using these. Don't be wearing a short sleeve t-shirt and wear eye protection, because these brushes often fly off and splinter you, and that would hurt. Now, we also have a stone cutter, sanding disc, grinding disc, and an ultra-thin cutting disc, which we mainly use these three on our angle grinders, especially with the metalworking projects that we do. But something that does take quite a lot of time is switching between attachments on your angle grinder. So wouldn't it be perfect if you could have a number of these for each, so that you could put an attachment on it permanently? But obviously that wouldn't be financially viable. 120 quid for one of these per every attachment would be a lot of money. You might be able to do it with corded ones. However, having so many of these plugged in at the same time or set up at the same time, it would be a complete rat's nest of cables, complete trip hazard, so I wouldn't want to go near that. But we think we may have found an alternative. Now on to our alternatives then, which we have 3 of our alternative. They're all the same thing, but we bought 3 of them. So let's open this one up here, get rid of the packaging, and this is it. It's another battery angle grinder. I'll get into the details of it in a second. And it comes with handle, disc cover, and then the tool that you get for doing up the different attachments. Nothing else in the box, so that can go over there. And you may have noticed this is very similar to our Makita one. They're pretty much identical in size. This is 18 volts, brushless, and runs on Makita batteries, which is a very big plus point. However, you may have noticed it's not Makita branded, which means that it is a lot cheaper, which is the big advantage of this. So I will now quickly unbox our other 2 as well. They should be exactly the same, but we'll see. Handle. The cover. Second angle grinder. And the tool. Now the third one. So this is going to be very helpful with what we were saying earlier on multiple attachments. And will definitely be a very good setup to have for the future. We've now assembled quickly our 3 angle grinders. It's fair to say the quality is not the best. However, big advantage is the price. For one of these 18 volt brushless angle grinders, it is only £17. 17, and that equates to 21 United States dollars or 26 Canadian dollars. So for the price of one of these branded Makita ones, you could get 7 of these, even if the quality probably isn't a 1/7 of the quality of the Makita one. Now to speak a bit into the quality, on the Makita one, the handle is a very chunky, robust thing with a big end part here and then a lip on here so that you can hold it and your hand won't easily slip off. And made out of rubber so that it's actually nice to use, whereas these are a hard plastic. It has a small end part here. There isn't a lip or anything on the end. Looks kind of unfinished on this one. And something we did notice is the bolts that are in there seem to be not straight, which puts the handle off at a strange angle. If you look straight down the body of the angle grinder, you can kind of see it's leaning that way. Now the next point is the cover here. On the Makita one, you have this nice clip that you flick, and then you can move this around to adjust it, whereas this, it simply has a pretty poor quality clip on there with a screw, and that's it. Now also, another thing that indicates quality is the tool that comes with them. The Makita one is quite thick there, finished edges and everything, so it's quite robust. Whereas this one, you probably want gloves to use. It's got a couple of sharp edges and it's very thin compared to the Makita one. Now another element about quality, you kind of need to use them to judge. So let's put an attachment on one of these and see how it works. We've configured the 3 new angle grinders, how we plan to keep them most of the time, which is sanding disc, grinding disc and ultra thin cutting disc, because these are our 3 most used attachments. Now to see if they work, which we'll go for a bit of a benchmark here. We've got 4 of our Makita batteries, so we can test each of them. Benchmark Makita. So there, starts, runs okay, stops. Everything you'd expect of a high quality battery angle grinder. Let's see if this does any of those. Get random battery, put that on. It works. Now to see if the other 2 sound the same or have anything in common with that one. Now it sounded a bit different, to be honest, but 34 quid seems to have bought us 2 decent angle grinders so far. Now for the third. Well, that started and stopped as well. They all seem to sound slightly different, but they all worked, which is a good sign. You may have sensed that we're not 100% confident in these new angle grinders, but time will tell. We did just run one quickly, and the noise it made kind of reminded us of one of these, an old slot car. And actually the smell it was making was pretty similar to one of these after you've run it for quite a while. And we wouldn't be surprised if the motor in one of these is the same as in one of these. But time will tell whether this experiment was worth it, and we will bring you an update in a few months' time probably, once we've worked out if these were worth getting or not, and we're going to use them as we would use our Makita one. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Workshop Wednesday. Bye.